So translations, this is interesting. Tyler, we think this has been around for what, a couple years? At least a year? I think I lost Tyler. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we think this has been around for about that long. And but we just discovered it, what, a week ago?
Yeah, just about. And there's a little
2
kind
weeks
of
ago?
workaround that we figured out that you can do with this. So that's why we snuck it in, because this is a common request that we get that we've never been able to say yes to. So we kind of decided to include this as a quick section so that you know that this is there, because it solves one little hiccup with Zoho that a lot of people bump into.
And so how do you do this? So let's talk about this. So oftentimes people will say, gosh, there are certain fields in Zoho that when I'm going in to change their names or I want to edit them, I can't. So example, in leads, the street, state, country, city, and zip code field, those are locked. And if you were to go into the back end, like we're talking about earlier, and you were to go to edit this field, you could not change the state name. Yeah, you can't do anything with that. So what you could do is delete it and then create another one. Let's say you do business in the United States and Canada. So you want to have state and province, and you want to have those two fields here. Well, the only way to do that would, in the past kind of, or if you didn't know about this tip, would be just to delete it and create a new field. So we're going to show you how you can rename these system defined fields. So what you're going to do is go into settings again, and then you're going to go into translations. And when you go into translations, it's going to be off and you're going to need to turn it on. Now, what we're going to show you is how to rename some fields, but there are other language files out there. So if you have multiple people in your organization, you actually can grab these files and go ahead and import them, and they can set them as various languages and change their languages. And so it's pretty nice. But we're just going to work with this basic English file here and show you how you can change those file names. So all you're going to do is go ahead and export this, and then you're going to download it. And when you do, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get a big old text file, and you're going to want to open this in a text editor, just a plain text editor. So whatever you're using in, make sure you're not doing this in like Microsoft Word or anything like that, because that will mess this up. You just want to do it in a text editor. And then if you do a simple thing, so on a Mac, if you hit Command F, but on a Windows, if you hit Control F, that gives you kind of a little find window. And if you hit that, you can put that in and do a search. So in this case, I searched for the word state. So here we see we've got this field. Now you really don't want to change this information at all. This is kind of the API tag for it, and you really don't want to change it. But this last little part here, state, you can actually now go in and edit that and rename it whatever you want. So I've renamed it state/province. And once you go ahead and do that, what you're then going to have to do is save this document and then go ahead and import it back into translations, and wait a few minutes. And what you'll get here is it's successfully imported. And once it's successfully imported, you need to wait a couple more minutes after that. You might think you failed, but you haven't. And if you wait a couple more minutes after that, you'll see that the actual field names and titles get updated in the back of actually on the front end of your system. So we don't know how long it's been around, but even as much as we do this, we find something new, and we wanted to share that with everybody.
Yeah, and this one just pops up a lot as kind of an ask, because I mean the biggest one that I see for this, and this might pop, some people in there wanting to take a crack at doing this themselves, is in the accounts you have mailing and billing address as standard fields, and in the contacts you have mailing and other address. And oftentimes people are like, well, I want the billing address in the contact and in the account. And the previous solution was, okay, well, put it in other and then tell your team that other means billing in the contact. But, anytime that the words on the screen don't match what they mean and how they're being used, it's just risk of something going a little off. So it's just a quick way to knock that out that we thought we'd include with this webinar.